Using the levels I provided to you in last night's game plan, along with the 30-minute candlestick patterns that I've been teaching you, it was a very simple, easy day to trade within the market where we literally called it within the first hour. In last night's game plan, I made it very, very clear that if the SPY is gapping up, we're going to be focused on buying call options at the previous resistance levels for the break and retest. Meaning when we see the SPY break above key resistance levels, and the levels that I gave you were the previous closing price in the 604 range, the 605.30 resistance level, and the 606 resistance level. Once the SPY starts to break above one of those levels, if it drops back down, reacts as the support level, forms bullish 30-minute candlestick patterns, we're going to be buying call options for a gap and go. And I also made it very clear, if the SPY gaps up, the level for put options is going to be at the gap that was waiting to fill above at 607.50, which is exactly where the SPY ended up selling off during the end of the day. We absolutely crushed it. We had two massive wins in the morning with SPY and SPX call options, and then we called it for the day. I'm going to be breaking down the trades and showing you the confirmations on the 30-minute chart that we used to confirm that SPY was going to be very bullish at the breakout and retest levels for the gap and go in the morning. Now, first things first, let's get into tonight's game plan. So in terms of tonight's game plan, this is going to be very simple. What I want you to understand is this. If you take a look at the past 15 days, 30-minute chart on the SPY, you're going to see that it's been topping out towards key resistance levels plenty of times, trying to turn previous support into resistance. And in terms of this overall pattern, you're going to see just a lot of similarities, right? So in terms of this pattern, this is what I want you to be aware of. You could say right here, in a sense, it looks like a middle finger, or it kind of looks like an M, right? So just keep an eye on this pattern right here, because this is one of the potential things that can play out. So look at this right here. You see how you have support right here on the 30-minute chart for about an hour. You have some support right here on the 30-minute chart for about an hour. You have the support right here on the 30-minute chart, for like 2 hours. Once the SPY cracks that support and forms this pattern, right? So just take a look. This is what the pattern looks like. This is what the pattern looks like. This is what the pattern looks like. Once the SPY starts to spike back up towards that previous support and react as a resistance, forming bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations, forming bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations like it did right here, forming bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations like it did around here, it tries to drop. So what I want you to understand is the key make or break resistance level is going to be towards 607.50. 607.50. You have all this previous support right here at the gap, which is the level that I gave you to buy puts if the SPY gaps up, which was the exact highs. It was also our profit target to sell calls. I literally said my profit target in the chat was 607.70, the exact high of day, right? But what you need to be aware of is 607.50, the SPY closed the gap. It formed resistance for 2 hours, right? And it's starting to crack this support. So when it spikes back up to this like 607.30, if it reacts as a resistance level and it's forming a roof, it's forming a ceiling, it's forming top wicks at 607.30, not forming support, bearish candlesticks, then the SPY is going to try to maintain bearish, and it's going to try to drop back down to the previous closing price, which would be one of the, not the previous closing price, to this gap that is waiting to fill below at 604.22, which would be one of the best prices to be buying SPY call options if 607.30 is reacting bearish. If the previous closing price, 606.79, is reacting bearish. So heading into the market tomorrow, this is what you need to understand. The make or break overall support is going to be this 607.80, right? I mean, just look at this right here. 607.80, you see all this previous support right here, and this is where the previous closing price is. Look at all this previous support. If the SPY reacts as a resistance level, forms lower highs, and previous closing price is reacting as a resistance, we're dropping below, we're spiking back up, we're forming lower highs, we're forming resistance, it's going to have a sharp bearish move. Last time it quickly went to $603, right? And we have a gap that's waiting to fill below at 604.22. So what you need to understand is this: the make or break level in terms of the support, where the bulls lose all of the fucking control, right? In terms of like the hanging on thread of a level, it's going to be the previous closing price, 606.80. If we crack 606.80, react as a resistance, we're going to fill the gap. So you can try puts at 606.80. If the SPY goes under, spikes back up, forms a resistance level, you can attempt puts, right? And then we're going to drop to fill the gap, 604.21. You can try calls at the gap reversal level. Look for bullish 30-minute candlestick confirmations. The SPY has been on a strong trend in 2025 where it's been reversing at the gaps nonstop. Look at this. There was a gap to fill right here at 602.77. We played calls twice, SPY and SPX, for multiple 100% profit returns using the unique gap close reversal trading strategy that I created. In last night's video, I told you, if the SPY gaps up, you're going to want to buy put options towards 607.45, gap to fill right here, previous support to react as a resistance right here. And surely enough, it did sell off from that level after forming red bearish 30-minute candlestick confirmations after sitting that resistance for hours, right? Great confirmations to try puts. We already called it for the day because we were so fucking green with the call options in the morning. We didn't feel the need to keep on going and to try to overtrade in a sense and risk giving back gains, right? But with that being said, man, in terms of the bullish scenario, the bulls need to hang on for dear fucking life at the previous closing price. If the bulls are holding above 606.80, they have a fucking shot. But in terms of like the bulls to be in control level, it's just fucking simple. The bulls need to break above 607.30 and react to support. So what I'm telling you is tomorrow's going to be a very simple day to make fucking money. That's what I'm telling you. This is simple, easy fucking money heading into tomorrow, just like it was today if you executed that game plan that I gave you. So this is the main thing that I want you to take away from this overall video. Break above 607.30, react to support. The bulls are in fucking control. They're going to run it up to the 609 range. Break down below the previous closing price, 606.80, crack, spike back up, form lower highs, react as a resistance. The bears are in fucking control. They're going to run it to 604.20, and then we're going to target calls at the gap for 604.20. That's fucking it. Two simple levels, right? Break and retest, break and retest above 607.30, react to support, SPY's going to try to go bullish. Breakdown of support, retest, form lower highs, forming resistance at 606.80, SPY's going to try to react for bearish. Those are the key levels to determine if the bulls or bears are going to be in fucking control. Use those levels. It's such a tight, simple, easy money-making zone, man. Let the chart develop. Use the 30-minute confirmations. Now, look, man, I'm going to put you on to this education because in terms of this curriculum, this is how I see the market with my third eye. This is the curriculum that I've created. So in terms of the game plan last night, I made it very, very clear based off of what I was seeing on the 30-minute chart. If the SPY gaps up, it's going to try to have a gap and go. So we're going to be targeting call options at the previous closing price, 604.20. It didn't drop to the previous closing price. So in terms of the higher levels, it was the resistance. There was resistance right here at 605.30. This is the level I gave you yesterday. And then there was resistance right here at 606, right? So you can see if 605.30 reacts to support, big move to the upside. If 606 reacts to support, big move to the upside, right? Now take a look at this pattern. This is the pattern I used to buy call options perfectly, man. Take a look at this. So this is the first trade that I ended up making on the day. This is the only trade that I ended up taking on the day at 9:55 a.m. So right as the first 30-minute candlestick was closing, I bought SPY call options, right? I bought 607, SPY calls at 36 cents. They went above 80 cents. Why did I buy call option? Because last night's game plan said gap and go, break and retest, and the levels for the break and retest were 605.30 and 606. So in terms of when I bought these call options, I bought these call options as soon as this 30-minute candlestick right here was closing green. It was closing green and it was closing bullish. Now, in terms of the confirmations, right? Why exactly at that time? You're going to see a lot of my trades in terms of the curriculum that I've created. I typically like to enter right before a 30-minute candlestick closes or right before a 30-minute candlestick open, right? So the times are going to be very, very similar on a lot of the trades that I'm making, right? So this is an educational system that can make you money. A level is a foundation. You have to have the education to confirm if the level is going to work in the direction of the trade that you're making. So in terms of the confirmation that I used at the level, what I'm typically doing is, right, I'm looking for patterns throughout like the past 10 days, 20 days on the 30-minute chart. I'm looking for similar patterns that have been repeating itself even better if the pattern has happened at a similar level. So this is exactly, in terms of like the best setup at the best price, this is exactly what I'm looking for, man. It really comes down to price action and simple pattern recognition, simple capturing trends. This is what we do. We capture trends to make money within the market. You have to prepare to trade the best setups at best prices. You need to create the game plan, create the key levels, and then when the key levels hit, you need to use confirmations. In terms of the best setup at the best prices with confirmations, I'll show you. This is what it looks like. If you go back throughout years on my channel, you're going to see it's the same patterns happening over and over again. We have multi-millionaires who are all using this curriculum because this educational system that I'm showing you works and it consistently makes people money. So let me walk you through this. As you can see right here, in terms of the SPY, take a look at the 30-minute chart. What we're going to do is we're going to compare December 12th. December 12th right here, green, red, green. So it forms the green, red, green pattern, and it's forming a floor towards 605.80. What happens when the green, red, green pattern forms towards that 605.80 level when support is forming at that previous resistance to react to support for the break and retest? The SPY quickly goes up an hour straight to 607, bringing those 607 calls in the money. So when I saw this pattern and I noticed it was literally at the same exact levels, this is what I had said. I said, okay, one of my levels for the break and retest was 605.30. In the pre-market, we had a green, red, green pattern, and surely enough, the SPY went up next 30 minutes. So I'm saying to myself, the pattern's already working at lower levels, right? And when I'm looking at these patterns, I'm always focused on capturing short-term patterns throughout the past 10-day, 30 minutes. Now, I noticed that the trend had maintained bullish because you can see right here in the pre-market, this is resistance. Do you see the resistance at 605.74? The SPY had a break above that resistance, and then it dropped back down to react to support, and then take a look. Green, red, green. Green, red, green. What happens? It goes up for an hour, 607 calls go in the money. What happens? It goes up for fucking an hour and a half, and 607 calls go in the money. So if you measure the move, the profit target is right around here at 607. Because the chart says that when those 607 calls go in the money, or when SPY closes this gap at 607.47, a short-term trend within this market has been, as of lately, SPY's been topping at key resistance, and it's been having gap close reversals. So why the fuck would I hold my call options as soon as they go in the money? They're going to try to bring them back out of the money and make them fucking worthless. All this fucking resistance is here, and it's going to try to close the gap and have a reversal. Who do you know is teaching you this simple curriculum that can consistently make you money? Trading can be very complex, it can be very hard, or you can simplify things and optimize for a system that works, and you don't have to overtrade. We realized that was the best setup at the best price, and there was no need to make another trade because the market wasn't going to give us a setup as good as that, where in terms of the level played out perfectly, the confirmation played out perfectly, the pattern played out perfectly. What I'm showing you is very simple. You have to prepare to trade the best setups, best prices. You have to use the confirmations. But most people in the end will lose money because they don't prepare and they don't wait. They don't wait for the perfect opportunity to present itself. And when they take advantage of the best setup at the best price, they just give back gains. They fucking gamble. They fucking overtrade. It's like, dude, the best way to stop overtrading and the best way in general to just keep things simple, you need to have the curriculum to understand what the best setup at the best price looks like, right? When you have that curriculum, you need to create a plan with that curriculum, and then you trade the confirmations at the overall levels. And then when you're done with that trade, you need to tell yourself, if I'm going to sit here, right, and analyze these charts and wait for the next potential trade at the next potential level, right? You need to make sure if you make another trade on the day, this is the best way to go about it, that it's equally as good as the previous trade that you made on that day, or it's even better. If not, walk away. And if you choose to trade another great setup on the day, the most you risk is 25 to 50% of your profits. If you lose those profits, you have to force yourself to call it because then you're at risk of going green to red, which is not a fucking option, to survive within this market. So, as you can see, it played out fucking perfectly. It was so fucking simple. And, you know, for someone who teaches this curriculum, I wonder how many fucking people in the comment section saw it like that. You know, some people are too fucking focused on a title of the video. It's like, dude, I show you how to trade both ways. I give you the levels, I teach you the curriculum. My videos prepare you to trade the best setups at best prices, and it prepares you to trade both ways, right? We never blindly trade a bias. At certain levels, we're more bullish. At certain levels, we're more bearish, but we never blindly trade a bias. We have to confirm if that level is going to react bullish or bearish, right? And if a level is confirmed to be bullish or bearish, we might not even take the trade because we don't like the level it's at. Maybe it's at a level where we're more biased on being bullish or bearish, right? So maybe we just sit out. Maybe we don't perceive it to be the best setup at the best price with the overall measured move. So I'm trying to put you onto the game, and I'm trying to show you how simple trading can truly be if you just wait to trade the best setups at best prices, right? So in terms of this overall trade, I got in at 36 cents a contract, and then I ended up selling at 61 cents a contract at 10:40 a.m., right? We absolutely crushed this. And Uncle Tio, later on into this trade, he was seeing what I was seeing. And as I was adding to fucking contracts, he took a trade on the same side with a different ticker and a different strike. So that's two massive wins within the first hour. And we realized there's just really not going to be a better setup than this. So we just walked away and called it for the fucking day. It was just such a simple day, man. It's like when you have a plan, and the plan is playing out to a fucking T, and the confirmations are playing out to a fucking T, it's like, dude, you realize nothing better. There's going to be nothing better than this. Like, there's going to be nothing better than this, right? Like, what the fuck is better than being green on the fucking day? Walk away, compound your account, trade the next day. Don't risk going green to red, man. You guys need to focus on the long term. You need to understand this is a long-term game of survival. You shouldn't be focused on trying to make the most amount of money on the overall fucking day. You should be focused on trading the absolute best setups for the day and keeping yourself green and then waiting for the next best trade, right? And in terms of waiting for that next best trade, wait the next day so you can go green again. There's no need to keep on fucking trading for the rest of the day if you're already nicely in the green. One big win or two smaller wins in a row is green enough to walk the fuck away, man. So I want to give a big shout out to Uncle Tio. As you can see right here, I said the uptrend can last for 2 hours straight. I said that because the 30-minute pattern that I just showed you, that's what we were seeing on the overall trade. I even said, because we were trimming that at the peak as well. When calls hit 50 cents and then they had a massive drop, we were trimming the peak. And then I said, if you got out, get back in. And then I was adding to the position as well. And, final call to add to calls. I quickly added to calls as well, add to calls. So in terms of the reasoning behind adding to those calls, the green, red, green pattern, right? And when that formed, I had realized that the SPY was holding this previous 30-minute close. The SPY was holding this previous 30-minute close, and then it was strong and bullish. So I added, once I noticed the floor was forming at that previous 30-minute close of that candle, for history to repeat itself to continue to uptrend to 607, right? And we all fucking killed it, man. Uncle Tio killed it. As you can see right here, he absolutely crushed it. He called out SPX calls later into the day at 10:33 a.m. 605, 85 calls at 150, stopped out for a 70% profit return. Look at how fucking fast those SPX calls go up. Fucking 4 minutes, 70% return. That's exactly what he did the last time he traded, man. This is what we do. We trade the highest quality setups, and then you're going to want to walk away. If you choose to keep on trading, make sure that next trade is equally good or as better as your last trade. And make sure, in terms of your max risk on profits, 25 to 50%, if you hit your max risk, walk the fuck away. There's no need to keep on trading, man. So this is what makes trading exciting. When you have a curriculum that works and you choose to only trade that curriculum at the levels, creating a plan, going into the market with the right plan, with the right mindset, using the right confirmations. So in terms of 607 calls, this is where I got in right here. And I got in right here, right, in the 37-cent range at 36 cents. They went to 51 cents. As soon as they went to 50 cents, I said to trim and to set profit stops, right? And then I also said to get back in and to add to the positions, right? When we were back in that like mid 30 to 40 cent range. And then Uncle Tio called out SPX calls. And then in terms of where I actually sold the rest of the position, it was at 61 cents a contract right here at 10:40 a.m. Everything we do is alerted in real time. This was one of those days where it was just so fucking simple and easy to trade with the game plan and with the curriculum, right? The confirmations. So for those of you who are serious about making money, it's the first link down below within the description if you would like to gain access to our real-time zero-day options trading alert system, right? In terms of what we do differently, we buy cheap, far the money option contracts, very low risk. We're known for holding and selling deep in the money. When we're green, we set profit stops. When you're up like, 15, 20%, set a profit stop. We like to add to winners to increase the winnings. We avoid adding to losers. If we're down a lot on a trade and we still believe that trade's going to work, not only do we hold it, but we buy another strike. The second strike we buy, if the trend's in our favor, tends to be towards the lows with a massive win. And even the trade before that wins as well because it tends to go in the money when we're right about the trend. Inside of Team Roar, we do not use stop losses. If you trade far out of the money option contracts, a lot of the times you will be stopped out. One sharp move against your position could be a quick 30 to 50% drop in price. And like I said, we don't add to losers. At times, if we believe in the dead play, if it's down 50%, we will buy another strike and we hold the other strike. We don't use stop losses in terms of risk management 101. You need to understand the most we put in is our max risk per trade as our entire position size, right? So if we're putting in our max risk per trade, a couple percent of your account as your entire position size, all of your equity as your entire equity into the option contracts, that means the most you lose is what you put in, and what you put into the trade is your max risk per trade. Therefore, if the trade expires worthless and goes to zero, the most you lose is your max risk per trade. Except what's different from us is, compared to other people, we don't use a stop loss. Most people size in big because they buy something that's expensive, and they size in big and they don't hold for big wins because they're sizing in so fucking big, or they don't know how to hold for the big fucking wins. They didn't train themselves to do that. They didn't train themselves to measure the move and understand when it's time to hold. They don't trade higher time frames. They're not like you and I. Most people size in big, set tight stop losses, and get out very, very quickly. That is the worst way to trade because you'll be stopped the fuck out, right? A stop loss isn't going to save you from losing. A stop loss isn't going to stop you from losing. You're going to keep on fucking losing. And you're never going to be able to win big, right? And people train themselves to never win big. You can measure a move and say, wow, this is a rare opportunity where a massive move's going to happen. But if you're trained to set a stop loss, and if you're trained to sell quickly, you really think you're going to perform differently on that rare opportunity, even if you're aware of that, right? So like I said, we size in less. Our entire position size is our max risk per trade. If the trade doesn't work out, it expires worthless, goes to zero. We have the entire day for the contracts to go in the fucking money. Vast majority of the time, we are right about the trend. We hold, we sell deep in the money. Our timing tends to be spot on. When not, as long as we're right about the trend, we're still going to make money. We're still going to make 100% plus profit returns, bare fucking minimum, as long as those contracts are going in the fucking money. Last week, we had a trade that didn't even go in the money. It went up 600% in 20 fucking minutes. Big shout out to Uncle fucking Tio. That was fucking legendary, man. He did that last month. It was over 1,000% return on those SPX calls, buying them at the lows back to fucking back, man. All Uncle Tio does is win non-fucking stop, man. If you're new within the group, you can just see, man, you could search Uncle Tio within the chat. You'll see every fucking trade he's dropping is a fucking win, man. This guy's on the Forbes 30 under 30. He's on the Forbes list. He's a multi-fucking millionaire, man. This dude's a fucking genius trader. And we all tend to be kind of aligned on like the same side. And I'm telling you, man, this group is fucking amazing. And what we have works. If you're serious about making money, it's the first link down below in the description. We are literally winning 90% plus of the times in the morning. So as long as you trade the morning and you walk away, or if you risk capture gains at most, you're always fucking green the vast majority of the time. I'm telling you, that's the beauty of this group. We're entering the highest risk to reward trades, the biggest fucking wins, no stop losses. We have the entire fucking day for the contracts to go in the morning. These morning fucking trades print every single fucking time, man. I'm trying to put you on, man. It is nonstop printing in here. This is a money printing machine. Do you understand? There's many multimillionaires in here. Some of them call out the trades. Some of them, they sit back, follow the trades, use the alert system to their advantage. So this is a zero-day options trading alert system. We're printing money nonstop, man. And I'm telling you, we got multimillionaires in here all calling out the fucking trades, man. Look at this. We have a real fucking system. These are the morning updated key levels, right? And then if you want to take a screenshot of this, this just goes over some of the basics to the overall system, right? And I'm telling you, this is fucking game-changing and truly disruptive within this fucking industry, man. So with that being said, if you want to trade alongside with us and make money, it's the first link down below within the description. Today was such a simple day, man. With that being said, I'm going to be signing off, and I will see you guys tomorrow within the chat.